welcome to Get Into It with Tammy, Roman Soulmates, as I do at the top of the show. Thanks for joining me tonight, and I've got another great show for you lined up with my special guest, Shay Johnson. Now, you might remember her from Flavor of Love and Love and Hip Hop, but now she's using her platform to share her battle with fibroids. And a little later, I'm going to answer your questions in my Ask Tammy segment. This is where you give me your questions about your love life, your work drama, or even a tricky family situation, and I'll do my very best to give you the advice you need. So stay tuned for tonight's Ask Tammy question. Also, I've got my Power Minute coming up with some words to lift your spirits. But first, we gotta be messy. It's my unpopular opinion. Okay, soulmates, is this something in the water or what? Now, obviously it is, because Montana Yao got spicy when she said this week, all those fillers and surgery can't fix that insecure soul. Now, who was she talking to? Larsa Pippen. Okay, child. Now look, she didn't have to take it that far, but y'all know she did. And word on the street is Montana is not sparing Larsa Pippen with any of her posts. She's throwing insults over the steaming drama and very messy pile of shit that's circling around her estranged husband, Malik Beasley. Now, if y'all forgot, let me remind you that Larsa and Malik have since went their separate ways. Because how you get them is how you lose them. I don't know what people ain't gonna start understanding that. But Montana is on a roll. Malik recently issued a public apology in an attempt to right his wrongs. Now, this is what I have to say about this. Malik, you did public disrespect. So yes, I am happy that you issued a public apology. Because a lot of people will do some public stuff, being disrespectful, and then they try to apologize on the low. So I'm glad that you came out with it, but I want to say this. You introduced this dynamic to your family, okay, by stepping out on Montana right after she had the baby and getting entangled with Larsa. You did this to your family. So you have to be the person to correct it. And by corrected, this is what I mean. You need to call Larsa on the phone and say, hey, dig this here. That is my wife. That is the mother of my children. What you not going to do is go back and forth on the gram and via Twitter disrespecting her. If the woman wants to get something off her chest about what I did to her, she has a right to do that. And let me add this. Montana was actually very respectful. It wasn't until Larsa inserted herself that she said, okay, you want to jump up in this thing? Let's go toe to toe, bar for bar, round for round. And Montana won. So Larsa, my advice to you, stop inserting yourself in these people's relationship. He done moved on. He's done with you. You was the side piece doormat chick, and he stepped over the doormat that you are and entered into the house where he was supposed to be anyway. And you've just got to accept that. Don't you got some kids that you should be trying to entertain and raise and advise? You know, they're at a stage in their life where they need you. Handle up on that and leave Malik and Montana alone. That's just my unpopular opinion. I'm going to move this train along. Clearly, Megan Thee Stallion isn't the only one having a hot girl summer. Pictures recently swam up to the surface of Jenny from the block back rocking with her old boo thing. And it was a major throwback from the past too. Now, is it true that Jennifer Lopez is snuggling up with actor Ben Affleck again? Because not too long ago, honey, the 51-year-old singer ended her engagement to A-Rod. And from the outside looking in, J-Lo seems happy and at peace. And isn't that ultimately what life is about? Yes, it is. Now, this J-Lo, let me just go on record as saying this. I'm not mad at you. You wanted that old thing back. And I envision it went something like this. You had just separated from A-Rod and called that off, and then y'all went to lunch, and as you sat there eating, you said, I don't want it. I'm clear. This lunch has solidified that for me. We're going to continue with this separation. And then you went home and you laid up in bed and you was like, but it's lonely in the bed, so who can I call? And you start thinking about them old things. And you thought about Diddy, but you know he brother love now. So you said, I'm going to pass on that because that ain't the Diddy that I knew. And you kept thinking and racking your brain, and you thought about the dance and you said, no, I'm getting too old to be moving on the floor like that. I don't want to entertain him. And you kicked everything around in your mind. You even brought up Mark Anthony. You said, should I? And then you said, because he probably entertaining some side piece, throwback stank. Then I don't want to follow that. And bam, that's when Ben popped into your head and you said, let me call Ben and see what he doing. And you did just that. And y'all got together. And I personally feel like if you guys are at a space in your life where you can be friends first, and then if it evolves into what it was initially many, many years ago, hey, go for it. But you need to make sure that you guys are at one accord, okay, with your thought process about your lives and your careers and where you're trying to take those things. Because y'all too old to be playing around and y'all too old to be booty calling. You know, is it going to go somewhere or it's not? So make sure that you have those conversations with him, starting with friendship first and seeing if it can evolve. And that's just my unpopular opinion. Empire's Bryshere Gray was sentenced to 10 days in prison and 3 years probation, stemming from the domestic situation he found himself in last year. Now, if you guys don't remember, his ex-girlfriend claimed that he beat her for hours until she was finally able to escape and call the police. Now, look at here, okay? This ain't Empire. Bryshere, this real life out in these streets, okay? And you cannot be walking around like you a lion when you a cub. You can't put your hands on people, sir. And that's why you ended up in jail. You knew you had to plead guilty to that. But I'm going to tell you this. We don't like to see this, okay? For a long time, Empire reigned supreme as the family of hip hop on TV. In scripted television, and we fell in love with the Lions, Cookie, Lucius, all y'all, okay? And we already had a little scandal with Jesse. We was tired of scandal with the Empire cast. So we didn't need to see this. I want to say this to you, young king. If you are out here in these streets doing what this young lady has alleged, to which you eventually pled guilty to, acknowledging that something like that may have happened, you need to go talk to somebody, brother. You can't be out here fighting women. And I stand behind this. Domestic violence is a very serious issue, and we don't want to see it. And if you are operating from a place of fear, anger, trauma that is causing you to lash out on the woman that you're supposed to love and protect, then you need to go get help for that. And that's what I want to say to you, young king. You can't do it like that. Okay. We're not standing for that. And we're not canceling you, because I'm not a fan of cancel culture. I'm just going to suggest that you go get the help you need so that you can start having healthy relationship dynamics with the females in your life. You wouldn't want nobody to put their hands on your daughter when you have one, right? So don't do it to somebody else's daughter. Ladies, if he has done it once and he has not gone to get the help and counseling that he needs, he will assuredly do it again. Okay, and you need to get out of there and don't ever go back. If a man is not going to have you in a space where you feel protected, then you've got to protect yourself. I'm going to move on from this topic because Bryshere done upset me. Hakeem, That's not what we want from you. Okay, Vivica A. Fox recently spoke very candidly about her short-lived marriage to Christopher 6ix9ine Harvest. And I remember this marriage and relationship too. And she admitted that she rushed down the aisle because that's what everyone else was doing. She said, it happens, girl. But the marriage lasted for 3 years, and she did admit to having a Cinderella story. Their only downfall was not knowing each other well enough and going public too soon. Now, we have heard Vivica speak about several past relationships this week, and I'm just going to cover the 6ix9ine one because I feel like y'all have talked enough about the 50 Cent relationship that she touched on. But let me just add this real quick. I commend Vivica for acknowledging what she would have liked to have seen happen were she able to do it again with 50, because it's always hard to admit or acknowledge the one that got away, right? And you guys were online going in on Viv saying, girl, let it go. He's with Cuba now. She know that. Vivica know that. She's in entertainment and she's on Cocktails with Queens and they cover all the latest celebrity news and gossip. She knows that he has moved on. Y'all missed the valuable gem that she dropped during this interview, which was, I'm able to acknowledge and admit there was one that got away. Because people don't often do that. So I commend you, Vivica, for that moment. Now back to 6ix9ine. Y'all can't be just rushing down the aisle. This is another gem that Vivica dropped. Looking out at people and seeing what they're doing is not necessarily the journey or road that you should travel. And she's admitting, hey, I saw everybody else doing it. I had a fine dude and I said, well, let's get married, child. And they jumped right into it without really knowing each other, without really establishing a foundation. And I respect her for admitting this, because you guys need to understand that that is not the road you should take when you're getting ready to make a lifelong commitment to somebody. You need to know these people. You need to make sure the foundation is solid. You need to make sure that their credit is good. Okay, child, get into it. You need to make sure that they are living a life that is comparable to yours. And not just because so-and-so got married, but because you genuinely love this person. You genuinely feel like you could be committed to them, honest with them, and spend the rest of your life with them. So I'm going to go how Charlemagne got the donkey of the day. I'm going to say this is the thank you of the day to Miss Vivica A. Fox, because you dropped 2 gems this week and the people was too busy trying to be shady to even understand what you were saying. But I seen you, sis. I seen you, okay? And I understood and I liked what you were putting down. I think I have one more topic for you. That was a debate on social media recently over whether or not it's weird to call your significant other daddy. Now, some women said they can call their man whatever they choose, and other women said it sounds like y'all women have daddy issues and don't have dads in your lives. To that, I say this: Daddy, are you cooking tonight? Okay, because I'm going to call my man whatever I want to call him, and I ain't got no daddy issues, but I address him accordingly, because if we had children, had been blessed to have children, he would have been daddy around here. And that's my unpopular opinion. Now, when we return, we'll be chatting with reality star, entrepreneur, and ambassador Shay Johnson. We're about to get all up in her business and also speak candidly about health. You guys stay right where you are. You know this is Get Into It. I'm Tammy Roman, and this is Fox Soul. Welcome back to Get Into It with Tammy Roman. Please welcome my guest, reality star, entrepreneur, and ambassador Shay Johnson. Hey, Shay.
Hi, how you doing?
Wow, you look beautiful.
Thank you.
I mean, don't you hate when people say that? Oh, it's beautiful, but then it's like, wow. It's like, well, bitch, did I look like Rasputia before?
I swear. But I did have a few issues back in the day, hair issues, and, I ain't get the makeup on point. So, I've evolved. So
you've always been beautiful to me because, I've had my issues with bad wigs and China bobs and stuff like that. But I was like, I was always cute now. Get into it.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I want to thank you so much for being here. We both have on yellow. That means we are you're my spirit animal. Like we think
we're
a
in
lot.
tune. Yes, we're here.
All right, now we're going to get into the reality stuff a little later, but let's talk about your experience with acting. Would you ever consider pursuing a career in acting?
I've done a few plays, a few independent films. There's a few films that I hope never come out because I didn't do a great job, but I've had my experience and fair share enough to know that I wouldn't mind tapping into that world a little more. It's fun, you know, something to do. I can play different characters. I like it. It was fun and I'll continue to do it. Just started a few acting classes here in Miami, but I love the classes I was in Atlanta, but I'm in Miami now, so I got to adapt.
Yeah, you got to figure out who that new person is. I know that question seemed like it came out of left field, and I apologize for that, but I was like, I just want to ask her about acting because I think you'd be so great at it. So I just like, let's get to it.
Thank you. Well, I'm in classes, so hopefully you'll see me on that big screen soon. I hope so.
Listen, Carly Red is acting. She's on a show called Saints and Sinners. And at first I was like, Carly's acting? She does such an amazing job. And like, that's what I see in you. Like you guys just have that it thing that it's like you could transition quickly, but you do have to make sure you're in the right class because people can teach you wrong, you know.
Absolutely. And I want to know what I'm doing. I want to know when I put my mind to something and I really focus on it, I get it done. So I have so much other things going on, like with my business. I have a business, a health and wellness business, and it just took off during COVID. Unfortunately, that's when it took off. But I'm so consumed with that. It's kind of like I pushed certain things to the side, but it is a focal point for me. I'm getting my family involved. We're trying to create a dynasty with the business. So my mindset is just a little different these days. I'm more into my body, myself, health and wellness. And I've evolved. Like certain things that used to bother me just don't bother me anymore. But you know, I'm still Shay now. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm still with gents, but I try to protect my peace. That's what I'm doing.
I love that, Shay. You know, I follow you on the gram, so I see how you are and, you know, really the steps that you're taking to do just that, which is protect your peace. I know a lot of people are familiar with you from the reality show Flavor of Love, and then you moved on to Love and Hip Hop. What were both of those experiences like for you?
Those were two totally different type shows. Flavor of Love, we were done in 3-4 weeks tops. They put us all in the house. They took our phones. We had no radio, television, no communication from the outside world. So we were just focused on doing the show. I don't have any sisters. So it was different to be in a house, you know, full of women and different personalities, but I adapt. When I did Love and Hip Hop, it was a different transition. Love hurts. And on Love and Hip Hop, there were a lot of unexpected moments that happened. And it's not that a lot of people think it's unreal, but I can only talk about my situation. Yeah. Everybody you've seen me with, real situation. It's kind of like that type of show forces you to deal with issues that you might deal with later on, but they put you in the room and force you to deal with them now. Even issues that you didn't even know you might have later on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was two different type of shows, but I liked them both. But Love and Hip Hop definitely tapped into my personal business on another level.
Yeah. Are you going back?
I wouldn't mind, but again, my focal point is the business because I have marketing companies that are you know, coming to me now, presenting opportunities to take my brand to another level. So I have a lot of decisions to make, but I love Love and Hip Hop. I wouldn't mind, you know, staying, but it has to be about my brand. And if it can't be focused on my brand and my family and the direction and the energy and positive light that I'm focused on right now, I just don't think I should tap into anything that's not in my lane.
Now, I understand you being work focused and career focused. I get it. But you do have to take time for yourself, which leads me to ask you, what is your current relationship status?
Dead, non-existent. You know, and what happened was during COVID, you know, I did this speed dating with Shay thing. I was extremely lonely. I hadn't been with anybody in a while. I found a guy over a period of 2 to 3 months. Everything was great for about 4 or 5 months. Then it's like he just turned into the devil. It's like he completely flipped. We didn't see eye to eye. We were constantly arguing. I had to go to court to fight for my dog. It was just and honestly, I still love this crazy narcissist. I really, really still do. But I wish him well over there. And that's how I know I've grown. The old Shay would have been, a little more messy and
still
petty.
trying to make it work.
Yeah, out my mind. But the new Shay, I see a certain pattern, so I just stepped away from it. So I'm single.
How did he end up with the dog? Y'all was living together after 3 months?
No. We were starting a business and we wanted to breed dogs. I fell in love with this dog. He fell in love with the dog. I paid for the dog. But when I gave him the dog to take care of while I was shooting a certain show during COVID, he never gave the dog back. So it was just, I don't think he's an evil person. He just looks at life a little different from me. So I need to find somebody that's equally yoked with who I am, and that was not equally yoked with
that
me.
was not it. Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand that. I'm surprised that you would have to do speed dating, because I like on the outside looking in, like here again, I follow you on the gram. I would think you had your DMs are full of
and
people.
they are. What happened during COVID, I was on Juju.
Yes.
She was doing speed dating and I was just watching, because she's single, I'm single.
Yeah.
And I went live with her and she was like, Shay, you're single. You need to go ahead and try it. We're in the house, can't go anywhere, lack of communication. I can't touch you. So why not speed date at that time? You know what I mean? And it was nothing like a thirsty or desperate situation. My DMs are full, but a lot of the DMs are full. My DMs are full for the wrong reasons. I want to date you because you've been on television, or can you help me get on TV, or can I use you to build myself, which I want to build with my man. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
I want to build with him, but for the right reasons. And so we can build together. Yeah. Don't use me as a stepping stone and then peace out, Shay. So you got to watch for that. And it's hard to figure out what you're dealing with until you deal with them for a while. True colors come out after a while.
Yes, after a while. Everybody wears their mask in the beginning. Speaking of masks, do you feel that we saw the real you on these reality shows that you've been on?
Yeah, you know what?
You have a mask.
You saw a part of Shay, because there is a part of Shay that was aggressive, that felt she needed to address every situation, or is very, very defensive, because I used to be bullied. I used to be attacked. So I this wall was built to where I was just ready at any moment. And you have to understand, I don't have any control of the editing or what they choose to show the public. I can show you who I am. I can show you this all day, but if they don't air it, that's just something that I have no control over. So that's why I'm tapping into other shows and other business opportunities, so people can get to know who I am, because the more they love me, the more they'll take a chance with my product. My product really works. It's not a placebo. And I don't want you not to purchase my product because you have some disliking for me for something that happened on a reality show you were misled on,
Totally.
So it took me time to get to this mindset, though. It took me time, because I'm like, why did they play that and didn't play this? Or, why is this all this editing going on? But I signed the contract. I signed up for this. I even signed up for the negative that comes along with it on social media.
Yeah.
I cried in the beginning when I first did my first reality show, and how people attack you and talk about how you look and what you said. And I was called every name in the book. And I had to sit down with my mother and had a really one-on-one with my mom. And she told me, you know who you are, and I know who I raised. Don't allow anybody else to define you. You know who you are. You define your way of life, So that stuck with me for years. And so now certain things bother me a little bit, but not to the point of how it used to. So you adapt. You know how this go. You adapt.
Yeah, I told. That's why I'm sitting here like, yup. I totally understand. Did you feel any backlash, or did it take you or trigger you to the place you just spoke about when you did Iyanla? Because I know that show is edited too, and that for me, I watched it and it was on the outside looking in, I was like, well, now why are they doing Shay like that? It just felt like it was like a bullseye on your back.
When I signed up to do the show, my PR Jen, she told me it would be a great way to kind of, open up more on who I am, because you didn't get to see that on Love and Hip Hop. And on top of that, I said, okay, well, not only open up to who I am, I have real life issues with my family. Yeah. So I decided to bring my family. They didn't ask for my family. So when they came, if you notice, I never got to speak my piece. I never got to address any issues in my family. I felt that there was this energy between she and I as soon as I got there. And then, immediately it wasn't, hey, how you doing? It was, why do you have that shirt on? Why is your blouse so low? And I'm like, but, I'm sorry if this bothered you. I tried my best to be respectful, to the point where they also didn't show a lot that was going on. It took me a while to get to the point where she followed me to the car. Right. The car pulled off. You seen when the car pulled, well, you didn't see, the car pulled off, turned around and brought me back to her so she can cuss me out. And I'm like, wait, please don't bring me back. I'm trying to walk away from the situation so I don't have to deal with it. They brought me back, so she bamming on the door, raise the window down. You're not a woman on your word. And I get it. Everybody got different ways of life coaching. Right. Or there's different ways of approaching people during therapy. I think she has one approach, as you can see during her show, is the bark, 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 and then let me love you down.
It's the tough love. Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't, does that work for everybody? Not
no,
me.
It doesn't.
And I still have nothing against her. I wish her well. And hopefully one day she and I might be able to have a conversation, even if it's, off camera, which I would prefer, just to see where that happened. Yeah. Because I own up to my BS. I do. I even sent her a letter via email to let her know how I felt and owned up to my aggression.
Okay, now that's a good move. That was a smart and a very mature move. I will tell you, I watched the show, and just from watching it and following you, and then I got the opportunity to meet your brother from the Love and Hip Hop Miami. It to me, even though you may not have liked how the final presentation came out, I still saw a vulnerability there from you of wanting to fix things and mend things with your family that I hadn't seen in any of the other moments of just absorbing Shay's energy on these shows. So even though you may not have liked it, I feel like the people that wanted to get it and wanted to understand absolutely did. You know what I mean?
Let me talk about the positives. For number one, my brother and his wife were going through a divorce. You didn't even know that until they started kind of speaking on it. That wasn't supposed to come out. My sister was very adamant about that. I don't want my business out between your brother and I. Okay. It happened anyway. And the show kind of transitioned towards them, but it helped their marriage. They see a counselor, a therapist every week. They both have PhDs. They're both doctors. They have their own professions. But what it opened my eyes to see is it's okay to open up and talk to people. Let it out. It's okay to get another perspective. Because I've always tried to handle everything on my own. I told you I had this wall up and I was just ready for whatever. So it's time to break those barriers. And my family, we're not broken. We put a Band-Aid on it, but we need to really heal, Yeah. And we had a recent death in the family, which actually kind of brought our family a little closer, and possibly my mother and father might be getting together after 20 years, but that's a whole nother. But it's a bittersweet situation when a family member dies. But this situation has definitely brought a lot of our family a little closer together, and we'll just see what happens. I'm all about family, all about my business, and that's how the idea of creating a dynasty with the healthy hand and bringing my family in.
I commend you for that. I love your willingness to work through anything with your family, because that's what it's all about. And that's what's most important. And part of the process is acknowledging, like you said, we're not broken, but we still have to heal. So I respect that you're able to be that transparent. I really appreciate that. Shay, before we go to break, I want to ask you this quick question. Who are your top 3 women from reality TV, that past or present, that you've always loved?
3?
You like, girl, 3? I can give you 1 and if possible.
Right. It's not. How about, let me give you a few after this break, because I don't watch reality TV like that. And Honestly, I haven't even watched all of the shows I've been on. Every episode, believe it or not, I have not, because you don't want to relive certain moments again and again and again. So let me think about that, because I'll give you maybe one, like you said, and a half. So we'll see.
How about New York? Is she on your top 3?
Nope, but she would be in my top 5.
Boom.
That girl is funny.
Yes, she is.
There you have it,
soulmates. You heard it. She's a real one. She was like, she'd be in my top 5. We got to take a break, but we've got more coming up with Shay Johnson. She's going to talk to us about health and how to maintain a healthy lifestyle. I'm excited about picking her brain. Don't go away. This is Get Into It with Tami Roman. Welcome back to Get Into It. I am here with TV personality Shay Johnson. Now, Shay, you aren't just a reality star, so that's why I wasn't just going to put you in that box, because you're also an entrepreneur and an ambassador for USA Fibroids Centers. For those who don't know, what can you tell us about fibroids?
I actually recently found out about fibroids. In the past, I would say 5 years. I never heard of it until I had it. Fibroids are benign tumors that grow on your uterus. Some women can have 1, some women can have 50. It just depends on your body and how they develop. These tumors cause major issues, especially with your menstrual cycle, from extended menstruals from 7 days, which is normal. Mine went to over 19 days. That is not normal. I had pelvic pain. I had constant urination because one of the 4 fibroids I had was pressing against my bladder. So I was going to the restroom maybe 2, 3, 4 times an hour. When my menstrual cycle came, I had blood clots coming out the size of my palm would come out of me. The reason I went to the doctor to figure out what was going on, I woke up at this time. I didn't know I had fibroids. I woke up, it seemed like everything started spinning. I fell and I bust my head. I had a gash here. I remember waking up, there was blood all over my face. I said, okay, something's wrong with me. It's time to go. I already had the symptoms, but I ignored them. Went to the doctor. They told me I had fibroids. Didn't know what it was. Researched it. My mother didn't know what it was. My grandmother, she heard of it, but she wasn't familiar. But by the time I found out that I had them, one was very aggressive and very big. They told me my options were a myomectomy or a hysterectomy. The myomectomy, they just take the tumors off your uterus and place your uterus back in so you can conceive and have a child. The hysterectomy, they take your entire uterus to where you are not able to conceive ever. I decided to go with the myomectomy because I don't have any kids, not knowing there was another option called UFE. This is why I'm a spokesperson for fibroids, a fibroid fighter. If I would have known of this option, UFE, uterine fibroid embolization, if I would have known that option, I would have chose that option. But because I was unaware and the 3 doctors I went to never gave me that option, I went with a myomectomy, allowed them to cut me. I have a permanent scar here to remove the tumors from my uterus. The issues I have after the surgery, they never discussed with me. They never told me that I wouldn't be able to work out the same like I used to. I couldn't walk as much. I couldn't lift as much, or I would have these constant cramps. They also never told me that I probably would never be able to conceive during a vaginal birth. They have to have a cesarean and cut me in the same area because my stomach would grow and, your scar would stretch out, and they don't want to have any issues. So they will prefer to cut that same scar to remove the baby. I feel like a part of me was taken. Yeah. Because I didn't know my options. In my mind, my options were minimal.
What exactly is UFE? What is the difference that provides so women
can... UFE is a small procedure that is not surgical. You can go in and come out the same day and go out to work the very next day. It's a procedure where they basically they take the blood, they remove the blood that is basically feeding that fibroid. So if they cut off the blood circulation from feeding, the fibroid eventually shrinks and disappears. So that's all that's happening. They have to cut off the blood supply. So a UFE, they cut that blood supply and you're on your way. I can still have a baby. I still can conceive. I can get up and go the next day. I don't have to have a permanent scar. But I didn't have that option. So the reason I'm a fibroid fighter is because a lot of women don't speak on fibroids because we were taught to keep our menstrual quiet. Don't speak on it. You know what I mean? So because we were taught that, it's a domino effect of a curse, a domino effect of a generational curse. I'm here to break that. We have to speak up and speak out on fibroids to bring awareness towards what fibroids is, because we still have no idea where they come from.
Where
did
they
you know 80% of all women will have fibroids? Did you know 80%? On top of that, majority of our miscarriages, they come from fibroids. And we don't even know that. Let me tell you one more story. A friend of mine had fibroids. She decided not to get the surgery, unaware of UFE. She got pregnant. Because she didn't remove her fibroids with the options they gave her, her baby was born with his eyes shut. They had to laser his eye open because his eye was pressing against one of her tumors, her fibroid tumor. So he was born this way. Now he has a constant lazy eye for the rest of his life. She's tormented by that. She cries all the time about it. It's not her fault. She was unaware of her options and she went with what she knew. But this is why I'm here, to speak to people like you with a platform like this so we can get the message out. Yeah. It's not enough people speaking. It's time to talk.
And listen, you just educated me because I had never heard of the UFE. And I think so many women are suffering, particularly Black women, because, we don't like the doctor know how. So when it's something wrong, we will let something go unaddressed because of fear that we're going to find out something. Because I have to admit, being completely transparent, I'm the same way. It's like, don't take me to the doctor because the doctor be killing folks. And I got to get out of that mindset. Because in the event there was something wrong, like I could have caught it or I could have headed it off, and we just don't go to the doctor. So I appreciate you sharing your story because I'm sure there's a soulmate out there who is dealing with this in silence.
Or any other issue. You have to stop self-diagnosing yourself. It's okay to go to the doctor to get checked out, but you only know your body better. We have all the symptoms happening right now. And you choose to ignore them and you'll wait till it gets to a certain point or till the doctor tells you only have a certain time left in your life before you want to react. Your body is like a car, right? The engine light comes on and lets you know there's an issue. If you do not fix that issue, that car is going to break down. Your body the same way. The symptoms is telling you right now, there's an issue with your body. So you better figure out why the symptoms are happening because they're telling you need to get to this core issue. Get to that core issue and you'll be fine. That's where I come in. With my detox. That's where I come
That's what I was going to ask you. Have you had to change your diet or eating habit?
Absolutely. Since I've changed my diet, since I've created my detox, I've gotten into herbs. My skin is more clear. I've lost over 45 pounds. Yeah. I was way bigger than this. You know what I mean? And I got more in tune into myself. I want to live a long, extended life. In order to do that, I needed to get more into calories. I count calories now. I stay away from sugar, bread, soda, pasta. I'm into vegetables and smoothies. I make sure I get my sleep. This is what I need to do to live. Right. So yes, I will help you. My detox, this is to cleanse out your entire system, your blood, your pancreas, your colon, your parasites, any burping, any bloating. 21 days right here, 21 days. But every year I would suggest at least about 2-3 times a year. That's what I would suggest. You don't want to get hooked on any detox. This is like a reboot for your system. Because your body already functions normally.
I can only eat that, or can I have food with that?
No, you absolutely can drink with this. You can take them both at the same time. This is focusing on your belly area. This is focusing on your entire system. Take them both at the same time. You can also eat, but you have to change your eating habits. Food, you can heal your body through food. They didn't have the pharmacies, Walgreens, CVS back in the day. They went to the garden. They picked herbs. So that's what I did. I went back and I figured out, okay, what herbs help with this, with coughs, with colds, what cleanses your blood? I really did my research, and coming to Miami helped with that. The Haitians and the Dominicans here, it's so multicultural. I learned so much, but I'm just so proud and happy that I was able to turn my situation with fibroids into a dynasty. Literally from fibroids, my business was created from fibroids because I have a tea. This is a fibroid relief tea that I have. The same herbs that the holistic doctors told me to take, which minimized my symptoms before my surgery. Yes. That's the same thing I sell in my product. Why not help other women? No one helped me.
I love this, Shay. Soulmates, are you listening? Where can they go to get those products? Let's put that in right now.
Make sure you go to the website, thehealthyhand.com. It's thehealthyhand.com. fibroid.com. And you can find me on Instagram. I am Shay Johnson. I answer all my Instagram. Any questions you have on fibroids, detoxing, health and wellness, any questions you have at all, you can reach out to me. I am Shay Johnson. Also, follow USA Fibroid Centers. They can help you. They have locations all around the United States. They can remove your fibroids. Again, it is UFE. That is another option for you to remove fibroids. UFE. Thank you for having me, love.
Listen, soulmates, this interview right here has got to be one of my favorite, because I love to be able to educate and or bring people who can educate, especially my African American community, my Black women out there, on the things that we need. So I completely appreciate these gems that you've just given to the soulmates. Switching gears, Shay, what can you tell us about the I Have a Right campaign?
The I Have a Right campaign basically focuses on fibroids, and it focuses on women and shows you have a right to know exactly what's going on with your body. You have a right to understand your options. You have a right to the knowledge that comes along with fibroids. And we're here to give you that right, to tell you your options. So that campaign that we're doing, we're going to promote that all around the US. But my goal is to eventually promote this situation all around the world, because did you know that 80% of all Black women will have fibroids? It might not be severe, but yes, but fibroids exist majority all Black women. Why is that? They do not know. So it's time to fight the situation. All right. Time to speak up and speak out. So yeah.
We have to hold the medical community accountable too. And I don't know, you hate to say that it's racism in the medical field that might be playing a part in why we're not being educated properly, but that could potentially be an issue. Wouldn't you think?
Well, yeah, I believe politics plays a part. Of course, money plays a part. FDA approves certain medications for a reason. If you think about it, the money is not in the cure, it's in the medicine. You have to think business-wise about that. So don't always go off of what everyone just tells you. Even if it's your doctor, still do your own research and get a few opinions so you can make the best decision for yourself. Don't jump the gun. You have to make the best decision, because you have one body. And once it's gone like that.
I love this. Oh my God, Shay, this is so amazing. Listen, the way you have taken control of your journey here and controlling the narrative of what's happening in your life, I am such a fan of. Soulmates, if you would like to follow Shay, which y'all best to, the best to get into it, it's I am Shay Johnson on Instagram, and
the Healthy Hand
is where you guys can go to get the detox and the fibroid tea. Shay, before I let you go, we like to have a little fun around here. And so I have a quiz that I give called Tammy's Fast Five. So I will ask you 5 random rapid fire questions. And you just give me the first answer that pops into your head.
Okay.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm not good at this, but come on, let's
yeah,
try
we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. What's the biggest misconception about you?
I'm always ready to fight.
Now, Shay, you always ready to fight. You just learned how to control it.
No, I've learned to control myself. I'm not ready to fight. I just love really hard. That's all.
You're passionate. I'm passionate.
Passionate about love.
Now, if you had the opportunity, which reality show would you want to be a part
of? Probably the Kardashians, so they could promote the healthy hands, and then I'll be on my way.
Yeah, I like the way you think. Do you prefer Netflix and chill, Hulu and hang, or just a nice little date out?
Ooh, Hulu right now. I'm on my Hulu right now. I was on my Netflix, but I'm on my Hulu right now.
What you watching on Hulu?
Let's see. Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Again.
Okay, because I was like, you didn't see that the first time, you slipping.
It's my 4th time.
Okay. Who is your celebrity crush?
Ooh. What's that new guy on the show? What is it? Oh, that new dark skin guy. They keep putting him on the Shade Room. He is dark skin, bald head, tall. He's on one of these TV series. He is so fly. I think he was recently on the cover of GQ. I cannot think of his name. He is sexy. What is his name? What is the name of that show he's on? Skyfall? Not Skyfall. Some gangster movie. He plays a gangster that he's selling drugs in the movie, in the TV show.
I'm gonna have to do my research on this.
Oh, forget him. We'll just go with Drake. We'll just go with Drake and Chris Brown. I always had crushes on both of them, and I never want to meet neither one of them ever in my life. Because I want that crush and that, things I think of just stay in my mind. So.
Okay. Last question. Do you gag or?
Damn. Can y'all DM me for that? That's a lot. I'm very professional. I'm very professional at what I do.
Okay, y'all. Y'all heard it first because I be, see, I ain't professional. I ain't professional. I ain't gonna lie. But thank you so much, Shay, for being here.
Crazy. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you and allowing me to speak. This was amazing. Thank you so much.
I adore you. And make sure you guys go follow Shay and the work that she is doing for women's health. TheHealthyHand.com. Please go there, ladies. Get that detox. Stick around, soulmates. You've got questions. I've got answers. Ask Tammy is up next on Fox Soul. Come back to get into it. I'm Tammy Roman, and it's time for Ask Tammy. You guys know this is the part of the show where I answer your video questions about relationships, work issues, or family drama. So let's take a look at the latest video.
Hey Tammy, my name's Zoe and I need some advice. My girlfriend, she wants to get plastic surgery, again, for the 4th round. And I'm trying to support her, but it's looking crazy. And I don't know if I should tell her, maybe she should not get this last round, or should I just shut up and support her decisions, because if she want to look like a character out of an anime movie, that's on her, right?
Thank you, Zoe, for sending in that question. Okay, this is the best advice I can give you, and I'm going to speak from personal experience. Everybody knows that I support a person's decision to do elective cosmetic surgery if that is what they desire to do. I feel like if there's something you don't like, you have the right to change it. People know that I was very open about getting smart lipo. I actually got the procedure done on Basketball Wives many years ago. And then maybe about 5 years ago, I got my butt done because I wanted it done and I wanted a little more junk in the trunk. And I did that. Now, I went to a person that was very honest with me and made sure that what I was getting done was proportionate with the rest of my body. I think if you're going to be a good friend to this person that's going for the 4th round, you have to be honest with them. You have to say to her, sis, I don't think you need it. Now you're stretching out of the bounds of what's actually going to look natural. And be honest with her, because some people's vision of themselves is not necessarily what we see when they come out amongst us. And if she's going to be walking around looking like Mr. Potato Head or the letter P, you've got to let her know so that she doesn't have to come under scrutiny for that. But an even bigger conversation is your friend has gone for surgery 4 times. Even though you're going to have the conversation about, hey, this may be too much, try to expound upon the conversation and see why she's opting to have so much cosmetic surgery. There may be a bigger issue with identity and self-esteem that needs to be tapped on. And I want people to understand cosmetic surgery is not going to boost your self-esteem. It's not going to be the confidence, key that you've been looking for. You have to feel good about yourself. You have to love on yourself before you even decide to do the cosmetic procedures, because they are just enhancements to the beauty you already feel about yourself. It cannot be, okay, people, if you're listening, please listen clearly. It cannot be the answer to deep-rooted issues and traumas that you have as an individual. So the fact that she's gone 4 times, try to have a conversation with her about that and see why she wants so much surgery, because one should have done it. One should have done it, maybe two, depending on if she got a different area. Okay, now if you want some advice, because that's all I got for Zoe, on your relationship, your family drama, or a personal issue, send me a video and email it to asktami@foxsoul.tv, or you can post it on Instagram and be sure to use the hashtag Ask Tammy. Someone will see it, get it to me, and I will do my best to give you some advice. We're going to take a quick break, but the Power Minute is up next, so don't go.
I think a lot of us want to sow our seed in front of people so that people can know that what comes out of the ground is ours, that we're responsible. So we wait until people are watching to sow our seed. But are you willing to dream? Go to bed at night and dream. Wake up with a new state of consciousness. Take what's in your new state of consciousness and sow it into the ground before anybody can have anything to say about it. And the nice thing is that because it's underground, if it doesn't work, nobody knows.
Now listen here, I hope that Power Minute by Chrisette gave you some insight and the boost of positive energy that you needed today, because I don't know if you heard what she said. Stop doing stuff for public consumption and keep your business to yourself. That's what I had got. And I thoroughly agree with that, because listen, the more you keep inside and you work on and you build and you sow good seed, okay, whether it works and harvest or not, you don't have to engage in conversation about what you've planted. Baby, y'all better hear what Chrisette has said, okay? Mind your business. By mind your business, I mean mind your actual business and the seeds that you are planting and sowing and toiling and making sure your soil is fertilized around you. Baby, let me get on up out of here because I'm going to start preaching in a minute. Y'all ain't got time, baby, because the Book of Sean is up next. But I want to thank y'all for joining me today. And special thanks to my guest, Shay Johnson, for stopping by. I will, of course, be back tomorrow where we'll get into it with my guest, R&B and hip-hop star and singer, Jacquees. Ladies, you don't want to miss that. Have a great evening. I'll see you tomorrow.